What's up, guys? My name is Nathan Rivera. I'm a professional bare knuckle fighter, and this is my InterX story. As a bare knuckle fighter, recovery is very important. The fight itself is very damaging to our bodies, right? Of course, our hands, hopefully we're not taking a lot of damage to the face, but if we do, recovering our face is also very important. Not even the fight itself, but the training every single day. Sometimes when you're in a calorie deficit, training can really take a toll on your body. So recovery is very important. People always say that your next session is only as good as your last recovery. When I first heard about InterX, I kind of thought it was like a little bit of a scam, because I was thinking to myself, okay, how is this machine that looks like a remote controller gonna take out the inflammation in my hands? So I was very skeptical. Obviously, CJ Allen and Alan Eccles, I trust their opinion, so when they told me that it was good, I was ready to give it a go. Being a bare knuckle fighter, a couple injuries that come to mind that are kind of our constant battle that I'm experiencing are battle with my hands. When you fight somebody with no gloves on, it takes a couple months for you to put the gloves back on and hit the bag full speed. Hands, wrists, for me, a lot of times my shoulders are really worn out from 5 to 7 days of hard training sessions, 2-3 times a day. My hips recently, maybe it's just because of all of the turning and all that stuff, my hips have been taking a little bit more of a beating than usual. InterX has come through and saved me a couple times. One time in particular was my last fight. I fought this guy. We were in Michigan and he was a really tough opponent. We had a really good war, and my hands after the fight were just banged up. Usually that's not a big deal because I have some time in between my fights to relax and eat good and let my hands recover and really go back to like normal life. Like maybe 2 weeks after my fight, my manager calls me and said, "Hey man, you ready to go in 3 weeks?" And it was one of those things where I didn't really know if I was ready to go in 3 weeks or not. Mentally, I was ready to go. Physically, I wasn't sure. I had the InterX machine and I hadn't really even opened it up or brought it out of the box or anything like that. And it was the first time, and I started using a couple of the attachments, treating my wrist and my hands and my fingers, and within like 3 or 4 days, my hands, it felt like I hadn't even fought previously a couple weeks ago. I mean, it was one of those things where, we talked about what was my first thought. I kind of thought it was like kind of a scam, or does this really work? And then I started treating myself with it. It was night and day. It was ridiculous. I keep the InterX with me at all times because I train for a couple hours in the morning. I train a couple hours in the evening in a different location. In this sport, you never know. I mean, it could be 9 rounds of sparring and you feel great and you're not getting hit one bit, and then sometimes you can punch somebody the wrong way and your wrist turns a little weird, or you hit somebody on the top of the head when you were aiming for their jaw or something and your hands start aching and hurting. So it's one of those things that it's like the same equivalency as like bringing your water bottle to the gym. Like you're gonna need it, Sometimes you might not drink your water till after practice, but InterX is one of those things where like on the way home, I'm always hooking up the machine with the sticky pads on my hands and just driving home and letting the InterX do its thing. InterX is really in its own lane with recovery. You hear everybody say, "Oh, throw ice on it," or put a heating pad on it, or do this or do that. I have never felt the effects of something work so quickly on my hands or my wrists or really any part of my body. My wife, she is a triathlete, and her knee was giving her problems and her shoulder was giving her some problems, and we were using the InterX machine on her. And to see my wife, which she's not a professional athlete, but she is an everyday person that is very active and she's very in tune with her body. When her shoulder was messing up or her knee was messing up, to see InterX completely like 180 her symptoms, it made me really happy, because not only does it work on myself, but it also works on my wife, and she lives a very different lifestyle than me. I mean, she works out almost every single day. She's not at a professional level, but health is still very important to her, the same as it is to me. Fighters, they're a little bit different than other athletes, I think. Fighters are gonna show up and do what they have to do no matter what, and sometimes recovery is like at the back end of their concerns. For me personally, recovery is like at the forefront of my daily life. So that's why I will always have InterX with me.